Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to go over the basics of creating an entry, and then I'll get into the automated stuff, like table of contents and the footers and everything, page numbering. So this kind of is the way that I've chosen to lay out my entry. Obviously, that you can do this other ways, and we're going to start with this little entry start thing. This is actually something that I use in my own notebook, and this is done by a table that I just pulled the border off of. And I know a lot of people like using colored bar. You can do that with like a little column here that you will go to the cell background color, and you can change that to whatever color you want. I've chosen just the blue to match the identify problem here. Now there's a couple different options for this. You can do it like this, which is what I have. So it's just on the side of the back, but maybe if you want it farther down or farther over, you can actually add a column in between so that you don't lose your spacing for this in terms of the rest of it. And then you can drag this out as far over as you'd like. Make it as big or as small as you want. And then just take that away, and you'll see that you can change that to however you'd like, wherever you'd like. Some people also like theirs to go all the way down the page. You can do that as well. It's just that you're gonna put everything inside the table instead of just the entry start, which you can see here, like all of this work down here is outside of that initial table, but in this one, it's all inside of it. And yeah, you can do that either way. You can just make that disappear like that. Alternatively, if you want something that goes across the top too, you can do that as well. You're just going to add a row to your table at the top, change the cell background color to be the same, and yeah, it's going to look like that. If you like the border, you can leave the border. I don't like the border, so I take it out. So yeah, another thing that I have is this is the title of it, and that's set to heading 2. You can change it to heading 1 or heading 3, and that's kind of more for the table of contents, which I will get to later. But you're gonna want to make sure that you set that to one of those and not just normal text. Yeah, just to make sure that all works for the table of contents. And then this next part that I have, if it's not something that you're interested in, you don't have to do it, but I organize them by category, and the way I've actually done that here is with this little drop down. And so you can click on the drop down, you can change it to whatever option you'd like. Now, this isn't the only use for drop downs. You could also use it for progress, for like something like recording how far through it is for it. And the way you're going to get that is you're going to go to Insert, scroll down here to drop down, and I just have it, this is category here, but you could do something like Project Status, which is one that they already have set up, or, you could do it as, like I have with the category, and just change that to whatever you want. And to edit these, you can hit this add or edit options, and you can add a new option like testing, for example. Choose your color to be whatever color you'd like. Apply to all, just if you have multiple, like here I have this, just to make sure that comes into that one as well. That's not the right one. There we go. And you can change that to whichever one you'd like. And then this is just writing stuff. This is a horizontal line, and you don't need that. If you don't like it, you can just leave it like that. But what I like to do for making it look nice is just you put that horizontal line. It inserts spaces, but you can get rid of the spaces. Yeah. So that's kind of your entry start. Now your entry is going to be organized primarily in tables as well. And if you look here, actually all of these are tabled individually. And the really nice thing about tables is that you can change it and it'll change everything. So for example, if I want to make this diagram right here, or actually, yeah, if I want to make this diagram bigger, I can scoot this down. I can make this bigger. Not that big because it doesn't fit the table, but these automatically will shift down. I don't have to, like in slides, click and drag them down one at a time to make sure nothing overlaps. It's just, you add lines, it's all going to shift down automatically. But yeah, and then so that they don't show up, you just make the table borders white and it'll all go away. This is actually an example of another nice thing about docs, which you might be able to do in slides. I honestly don't know, but what it is it's a linked chart. And I just realized that you all aren't going to be able to see this because I only shared this tab and not the whole screen, but that's okay. Basically, you click this little linked chart, you're going to go to open source, and it's not going to show up for you all. But actually, here we go. This is just a little file I made. This is the linked spreadsheet. So you can see, like, if I change this to a value like 40, it automatically updates in this chart. And since it's linked in the Google document, I have the option to hit update here, and it'll update that chart to what's reflected from the spreadsheet change. Now, if you don't hit update, it won't update, so if you accidentally change something, you don't have to worry about it automatically affecting your document. That is something that you have to manually click update for, but it's a lot easier to just hit a little update button rather than having to re-screenshot your chart or redo something like that. And this works not only for charts, but also for Google Sheets data and also Google Drawings. It'll ask you when you insert it to if you want to link it. And if you choose to link it, then you'll have this functionality. If you choose not to link it, it's just going to be like a static image insert type thing. But yeah, same here. If you want to make that chart bigger, you can squish the text. It'll automatically push the table below it down, and you can make that bigger that way. And then you can, if you don't want all this, you can crop it. You can change the chart settings, obviously, in the chart, but this is just, yeah. Also, if you want tables to still show, you can do that. Right here, what I've done is I've inserted a table into a table, and that just lets me, like, record stuff. So if I make this table disappear, if I make this table disappear, you're still going to have this one that shows up. It's not affected by it. So you can still have all your tables for recording data and everything. And then, if you don't want it that big, if you don't want this to be down that far, you can change the sizes to do all of that. Yeah, here's another example of an entry. This one actually has one of the linked Google Drawings, so you could do the same thing, go to open source, and change it, but I'm not going to show that since I already showed the spreadsheet. But one thing that I've also shown here is, again, this is a table, so I'm just going to show that really quickly, is you can number things. I think you can do that with anything, really. Like in Google Sheets or not Sheets, Google Slides or anything. But you also have this little thing that's called checklist here, and it works exactly like a checklist. You click the box, you unclick it. Here I've just used it for the parameters I listed above. Like, yep, it's fast. Yeah, it has good acceleration. No, it's very heavy. Whatever you want, you can click those. It's kind of a nice visual. I don't know that it has any real practical use beyond just being nice for, oops, that's not what I wanted. Technical difficulties. But yeah, that's those. The way you're gonna get them is you're gonna go up here to this little toolbar options, and you'll have one that says checklist. Just hit it, and then you can, works like bullet points. Yeah, you can check those off if you want, or not check them off. Yeah, and if you want to go away, I spelled it definitely right. If you have something like a table like here, and you want to say like this is good, you could change that to, oops, that was not the right one. You can change the cell background color to blues. This is not very important, you know. You can use those colors to signify, oops, whatever you want. That doesn't have to mean anything, but you can do that. That's a thing that can be done as well. So another thing that you'll see down here at the bottom is I've got this little footer, and it'll show up on every single one of these pages. Oh, I don't know why that's in the footer. But yeah, this is in the footer, and this is just one of those horizontal lines that I talked about earlier. This is page numbering, and how you're going to get that is you're just going to go to options, you're going to hit page numbers, choose a section it's for, if it's for a section, and then you can select that either in the header or the footer. I have it in the footer because that's where I like it, but you don't have to do that. This, you can also put pictures in it. I just put a little picture there, but you don't have to do that. You could replace that with your logo or whatever you want. And then I just have this little signed by type out. But you could do whatever you wanted, like witnessed by. This is actually not in the footer. This is just on the page. It can be dragged around wherever you want, but this can act as like your little signature, and you can drag it down there. And to get that on other pages, you're gonna Control C, Control V. My V key is broken. It's not working right now, but yeah, that's how you would do it. And then you just drag it down to the you just drag it down and copy it. Let's try this again. Yeah, it's not working. But yeah, you can do that for your changing who's going to sign it. If it's the same person writing it on each one, then you can type that out. You can just write, Emily Notebooker #2, whatever you want, and that'll automatically appear on every page, and that might be an easier way of doing it if you're not having different people signing it each time. It's really just a personal choice. So that's kind of how the entries work to get these footers to only appear in certain sections. And for example, on my table of contents, I don't have that footer. I just have a page number. What you're going to do is you're going to want to do a section break, and you get that by going to insert and then break, section break, and that'll create a new section. And what that's going to let you do is, like, if you click here, you'll see that's header section 1. If you go down to this next page, it's going to say header section 3, and you're just going to uncheck that link to previous if you want it to be different. And what that allows you to do is you can put something in the header here, and it's not going to show up in that next section. See, nothing here. Same for here. That works for the footers as well. So you can do that for both the headers and the footers. And on my table of contents, I just put a color key, and then I just write out the colors for each, and I'll change the highlighting color for whatever they're corresponding to. And yeah, that's that. You can do that if you want. You don't have to. So now for the table of contents. I think that's the last main thing to go over. And the way it works is it's automatically all hyperlinked, and it's automatically, you have the page numbers or everything. There's no more inserting the page numbers or anything like that. I'm going to show you how to get that table of contents. We're going to get rid of this for now. So to get rid of to get the table of contents, you're going to go to Insert, scroll all the way down, hit Table of Contents, and then there's 3 options you can choose from. This is the one I like the most. They're all hyperlinked, so you click on it, you click on the link, it'll take you there. And the way this is structured is you've got your headers here, and then these are actually heading 2. So if you go here, it's these heading 2 ones. You can set that however you want. If you go to the options, you can see like you don't have to have the indent for any of them if you don't want. You can put them all there to the side, or you can stick this one out that way if you want. That's pretty customizable. You can also change the style here if you want it to look like that. If you want to have those, you don't want the page numbers, you do want the page numbers, you can change this. Yeah, you can kind of select whatever you want there. You can also change, just like normal, you can change your, if you want it, no, yellow is not a good color. If you want it in red, if you want it outlined, italicized, however you want to do it. The one thing that I will say is that for highlighting, you can, for example, highlight stuff, but that won't stay when you update it, which you do through this little refresh button. So you hit refresh, it updates, it's gonna become like that. So to avoid that, just copy whatever you already have, and then when you update it, it's gonna go like that. And let's say that these are the ones that you already did. So you Control V over them, and it'll still stay hyperlinked and stuff. It'll just save you from having to fix all the highlighting. If you want this bigger, you can either change the font size. If you want more space, you can go to Formatting, Custom Spacing, pick whatever spacing you want. You can get more space between them. Things like that. That goes for, that's not just the table contents, that goes for everything. Yeah, I think that's about anything. If you'll have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'd be happy to answer them. Oh, never mind, I forgot. So how you get these as headers and as whatnot is actually this little button right here. This is heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. I don't actually use any heading 3s in here, but what I have is I have my versions as up here. You can see they're heading 1s, and I wrote yeah, you can customize how those actually appear. So for example, this one right here is heading 2. Those are my entries. But let's say I don't really want heading 2 to look like this. What I can do is I can, change it. Let's say I want my heading 2s to look like regular font, pretty much. Well, I can go here. I can hit Update Heading 2 to match. And that means just that, for example, here, if I want to put a heading right below it, which you probably wouldn't want to do, but that heading 2 will now becomes like that. I can type and it looks like that, and it's a heading 2 instead of it's kind of like a preset for the font, I guess. But yeah, it'll update all of your heading 2s if you do it through that. But you can also then, if you want this one different for some reason, you can do that and it won't change this one because you didn't go through and say update heading 2 to match. And then those will all still show up perfectly fine. Here you'll also lose your spacing, but the spacing's pretty easy. You just highlight all of it, go to Format, and you can change it to whatever you want. Yeah, that's kind of the way those work. You can also change your normal font. So I actually have mine set to Arial. If you want to change it to that, let's say that you want your normal font to be that. You can go to normal text, update normal text to match, and I'll make everything that's considered normal text into that. So you'll see it'll change every font, almost all the font in the whole document, and you'll get it like that. So that's pretty nice. You don't have to just select everything, like, and then change it individually. So you can do that. I think that's pretty much everything. Let me know if you have any questions.